World War One, Germany loses the war. People know about the Versailles Treaty and what happened in very general terms, perhaps. What exactly was the Munich Revolution that took place after World War One?
Yeah. So, as we know, the monarchy collapsed in Germany after World War One. In Berlin, the Kaiser, the emperor, abdicated and fled Germany, went to Holland. But even 2 days before, the German emperor, who also was at the same time the Prussian king, abdicated or had to leave the country. The Bavarian king, so every other German state also had their royalty. Bavaria had a king, and this Bavarian king, Ludwig, was forced to flee even 2 days earlier. What happened? There was a big demonstration on November 7th on a big open place in Munich, which actually is the same place where the Oktoberfest takes place every September, not October. And at that time, on November 7th of 1918, there were two demonstrations. One was by the more moderate, so what they were called the majority Social Democrats, and one was by a smaller group who had split from the Social Democrats because they were pacifists. They wanted to end the war even much earlier, and they were called the Independent Social Democrats. They were led by Kurt Eisner. Kurt Eisner was the leader of this minority faction of the pacifist Social Democrats. And in contrast to the majority demonstration, he and his group didn't go home at 10 o'clock. He went through the city and he realized that the people they didn't want to have the king anymore. The dynasty of the Wittelsbach, after over 700 years, was basically driven out of the city without spilling one drop of blood. And the army, the remaining, the soldiers that were in the city, they just wanted to end the war. So there was no attempt to defend the Bavarian king. He fled overnight, secretly into Austria. And Kurt Eisner, a socialist Prussian Jew, all three things are not necessarily what you connect with Bavarian politics until then. Kurt Eisner became the first, as it was called, prime minister. In America, we might call it governor, because Bavaria was not an independent state, but it was a state within Germany. But there was called the prime minister of Bavaria. And around him, there were quite a number of other people of, let's say, Jewish background. Some of them were actually converted, or their parents converted, but most of those Jewish people around Eisner were at least nominally Jewish.